today in the West Bloomfield community. We are celebrating National Gardening Exercise Day, a good opportunity of kind of combining gardening as well as physical activity. So join us here on the Splash Live to talk about gardening and then physical health when it comes to that. We have creative director from Glorious Gardens, Shannyn Hyland, joining us on the Splash. Thank you so much for joining us, Shannyn.
Hi.
Hey, so we're talking about combining physical activity and gardening at the same time. And obviously, with you being the creative director for Glorious Gardens, you actually have a little bit of the vision for how you want to kind of do things, but you also have to do the physical work to kind of get that done. So, can you just talk about combining your vision with the physical labor of gardening and what you all do?
Yeah, of course. So, gardening, especially in these warm summer days like we've been experiencing this week, is very labor intensive, but you can combine it. You can have the exercise at any level. So, if you want to just do a little bit or a lot, that's a great thing about gardening. So, some of the things that we do that help our everyday and what we do for exercise is we carry a lot of heavy plants, flats of
Mm,
flowers, trays of flowers, big tropicals. We carry bags of soil. So you really have to kind of prepare yourself and prepare your day. So if I'm going to a job and I need to bring 5 bags of soil, I need to mentally be able to and physically be able to carry those things. And I will tell you, you work up a sweat gardening. It's no light feat. So yeah.
No, I completely get it too. So it's a whole thing. Like it's not just as simple as just digging a hole and
No.
planting and going from there. You see what I'm saying? So you
Hmm.
actually know the work, and it's not even once you finish it like it's done. There's maintenance that's required also. So can you just talk about how you actually plan it out so that it requires, I guess, as minimal maintenance and as minimal work after the initial work is done?
Yeah, definitely. So a lot of the gardens that we design them for people who don't want to, either they can't do the physical
Mm.
part or maybe they just want to do a little bit. So we try and set up our clients up for success. We'll put watering bags around newly planted trees. That way all they have to do is just go fill up the watering bag. They don't have to sit up there and water all day long. If we're putting containers on their patio, we try and move them around for them, so at the end of the season all they have to do is empty them. And for things like perennials, we try to use plants and perennials that don't require a lot of maintenance, and just at the end of the season cut them down. So for other clients who want to be more involved, we can do that, but we try to
Mhm.
always do it for people who a lot of people, if you're hiring a professional gardener, a lot of the times you don't know what you want to do and you don't really have any interest in gardening. So you might want it to look good, but you don't want to be sitting there and babysitting your plants all day long. That's where we
Got
come
it.
in.
No, no, I get. So let's
Yeah.
look at the other side of the spectrum with that. For the people who do want that type of gardening area or that landscape where they do have to kind of maintain it and be a part
Yeah.
of it on a daily or frequent. Can you just talk about what kind of gardening or what type of I don't know assets kind of go into them actually maintaining it on a frequent,
Yeah.
like what type of plants or whatever the case may be, I guess.
So we have a lot of people who, a big thing, obviously, right now is a lot of people, especially during the 2020 COVID lockdown, a lot of people want to get into vegetable gardening. So since then, we've set up dozens and dozens of vegetable gardens for people, and we can do them on any scale. But that's
Mm,
something that we can set up and do the big stuff. We bring the soil, we bring the planters, the raised beds, and then every day you can go out and water, you can deadhead, you can trim. Those are things that it might seem like light work, but it's heavy work when you're out there every day trimming and you're making sure things are growing right and you're trellising your tomatoes and your cucumbers. And then also we do cut flowers. So we do dahlias and zinnias. And that's something that people can maintain every day. They can look at them, they make sure they're growing right, bring them inside and enjoy them in the house too.
Yep. Keep you active, keep you going, give you and it
Mhm.
keep your house looking good. The neighborhood, the community
Yeah.
brings the value up. I mean, we're talking about a lot. So, but joining us right here on the Splash Live, Shannyn Hyland, creative director for Glorious Gardens, talking about National Garden Exercise Day, a unique combination of gardening and physical activity. Which, yes, if you are active in your garden or the landscape, then yes, it does require some type of physical activity.
Hmm.
But with us being here in Michigan, Shannyn, let's be real. We don't have sunshine year round, right? So we do
Correct.
get to those months where you're not necessarily planting flowers and things like that. So how does Glorious Gardens approach the concept of year-round landscape and gardening beauty within Michigan throughout the seasons?
Yeah, so we always say, my mom, who's the owner of Glorious Gardens, always tells everybody summers are very sweet, but they're very short in Michigan. So a lot of the things that we do that make sure you can enjoy your garden is we like to plant a variety of perennials, some that will bloom spring, summer, fall, even into late fall. You know, you're blooming into October and November. We also have a lot of evergreens that we plant and ornamental trees that not necessarily is going to give you the color and the flowers that you want to see in the middle of the winter, but it gives your garden some structure. Some, you know, if you want to decorate for Christmas, you can hang Christmas lights on it. If you don't, you just want to enjoy the natural beauty of winter, you can have the snowfall. And we also do a lot of seasonal containers. That's a great way to up your garden game for all 4 seasons. So you can do spring with pansies, you can do your summer tropicals, fall, you can do mums and kales and pumpkin. And in the winter, you can just do some winter greens, some lights, some decorative sticks, and you have something to look at for all 4 seasons, because we can be honest, those hard months in January and February are hard to get through in Michigan sometimes.
Yes. No, no, absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, it's good to know that, just because we're going through the winter, you don't necessarily have to have a black kind of like landscape
Hmm.
or whatever the case
Yeah.
may be. There are some things that you can do to kind of spruce it up a little bit. So I can get that. Are there any other key elements that you kind of incorporate with your gardening or things like that kind of put your signature touch
Yeah.
on things, or any common concepts or requests from clients or things of that nature?
Yeah, so we have a lot of requests for people who want something that's blooming all 4 seasons, and that's a little hard to do. So we try and choose perennials that go into the garden that are going to bloom from early May to, like I said, the end of October, early November. So
Right.
we do a lot of perennials. We like to use a common catmint, which is called Nepeta Walker's Low. That brings you bloom for about a month and a half. We use Allium Millennium, which blooms later in the season. Those are two of our iron plants, and I know based in West Bloomfield, a lot of people have deer issue. Their deer don't eat either of those plants. So we use those all the time. Those are kind of staples for us. Another thing that we
Ah,
like to do that's kind of sets us apart is we like
yeah.
to incorporate tropicals in unexpected ways in the garden. So in the summer, I know, for instance, my mom's house, she brings in tropical bananas and just tucks them into the garden. And it's just something else and different to look at. It's not just, your everyday run of the mill landscape. It's just a pop of color and something different. And people stop and ask questions all the time about them. So we like to just do little kind of surprises. And it can just even be as simple as putting them in a planter in the ground or on your stairs. And it's just something else to look at. And it's not just boring, same flowers that every other neighbor on your block has.
Absolutely, absolutely. And
Yeah.
we appreciate your time again for being here, Shannyn. Before we go, can you just speak one last time to your thoughts on incorporating this physical activity with your gardening, and then just give out any additional information that you want to give to the West Bloomfield community?
Yeah. So, one thing that I would say is exercising in the garden. You can definitely get your exercise in, but it's also a great for your mental exercise. It's great to get outside
Good
and
point.
listen to the birds, listen to the bees, listen just
Good
the
point.
sound of the wind, have some sunshine on your face. Obviously, we always use our nice skincare protection, but it's great to have that vitamin D, the sunshine outside. So it's not only good for your physical health, being outside and, carrying plants and squatting down and trimming and things like that. Don't forget that it's also great for your mental health, because I can tell you I feel a lot better in the summer than I do in the winter sometimes. Yeah.
That's a good point.
Well, Shannyn,
All
Yeah.
right.
if she wants to,
Shannyn, thank you so much.
if
Shannyn Hyland, Creative Director for Glorious Gardens, join us on the Splash Live talking about National
Thank you for
Gardening
having me.
Exercise. We appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.